Welcome to the 1st November edition of Let's Talk Criterion, and once again thanks to all my recent new subscribers to the channel. It's steadily growing, and what an exciting month we have ahead. We have a Scorsese 4K favourite, a 70s 4K favourite from Bogdanovich, 3 new Janus contemporary releases, and a French psychology of crime film on Blu-ray. And we begin this week with a martial arts set. Now, martial arts has been doing really well with the Bruce Lee box set from Arrow releasing earlier this year, not to mention the numerous martial arts film releases coming to the UK and US from all boutique labels. And the set we plan to look at in this edition is Emergence of a Superstar, with films from Hong Kong martial arts legend Jackie Chan. His most prolific work, Police Story 1 and 2, is already in the collection, and it's a nicely packaged set as well. And Eureka even put Police Story 1 to 3 out in 4K. Now, the set contains 6 films ranging from the earlier part of his career, from 1978 to 1985. Now, before Snake in the Eagle's Shadow popularised kung fu comedy in Hong Kong cinema, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu focused on what would be the next big thing on the Jade screen. It's directed by Chen Chi-hwa and it's written by Jackie Chan, who also starred in the lead role. The film co-stars Dean Shek and James Chen. Now, it was released in Hong Kong on the 1st of July 1978, and in it Chan plays a bumbling kung fu student who becomes involved in a series of adventures in one of his first forays into the kung fu acrobatic slapstick comedy style that would become his signature. Jackie Chan takes the lead role as a hopeless buffoon who dreams of being a kung fu fighter, but is considerably short of his goal. Instead, he must rely on the scraps of knowledge he's thrown by the various characters he meets on his travels. Now, after a chance encounter, he's passed off as the famous whip hero. Chan is also sent on a mission to guard a convoy that is carrying a valuable cargo across China. Gradually, Chan finds that his kung fu knowledge is increasing, and with the help of a wandering beggar, he finds that he's reached a competent level. These newfound skills come in very handy for him when he's drawn into a series of showdowns with the countless bandits who are tracking the cargo and planning an attack. Now, the title sequence of this film is an absolute hoot. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some consider the film to be a bit of a disappointment, not living up to its beginning. But I wouldn't go quite that far. But you haven't lived till you've seen Chan take the traditional martial arts movie beginning, where the main star shows us some moves and then runs with it, mocking shoves genres and typical situations. Now, he's first seen sitting cross-legged, looking very serious with his hands in a praying position. However, rather than continuing to pray, he moves his joined hands to his side and rests his head on them so he can go to sleep. He then appears acting and looking like Zatoichi, with some mannerisms that are identical to ones done by Shintaro Katsu. That, of course, is the actor who played the blind swordsman so many times. Though, of course, others are just plain Chan. And you'd never have seen Katsu struggling with his blindness and running away, for instance. Now, by no means a classic, Half a Loaf of Kung Fu is still an undemanding and quite enjoyable early Jackie Chan film. The comedy that punctuates it is messy indeed and scattershot, as is the action, but the film retains a pleasant experimental flavour, and when put into its historical context, it's quite unconventional. It's likely that Chan fans who are used to his Hollywood efforts will be totally alienated by the film, but for seasoned Hong Kong film fans, it's a bit more comprehensible. Long before Stephen Chow, Jackie Chan provided a superb lampoon of kung fu films that remains amusing to this day. The second film in the set is Spiritual Kung Fu. It's from 1978 and it's Hong Kong action martial arts film, directed and produced by Lo Wai, and starring again Jackie Chan and James Chen. The film also features Yuen Biao as one of the master of the Five Fists martial arts. Now, Chan was also the film's stunts coordinator, and it was also known in some other dubbed language releases as Karate Ghostbuster. Yi Lang is a smart-aleck martial arts student at a Shaolin temple, and an anonymous thief steals a book from the library which teaches the 7 deadly fist style. Yi Lang, along with a group of 5 other monks, is punished for not stopping the thief, but his bravery leads him signing up to defend a supposedly haunted portion of the school. Discovering that the ghosts are masters of a supposedly lost style of fighting, known as the 5 animal fist style, Yi Lang offers himself as a student. Now, in this film, Chan felt restricted by Y's control, so Y finally relented and let him make a film with no input from Y whatsoever. The director was Chen Chi-hua, who had partly directed Shaolin Wooden Man and entirely directed Snake and Korean Arts of Shaolin, and from whom Chan says he learned the art of directing from watching him. However, the very comedic Half a Loaf of Kung Fu was hated by Y, who promptly shelved it and then decided to make his own comedy Chan picture, just before commencing shooting on Spiritual Kung Fu. Now, Y came up with the bright idea of filming back to back with another Chan film, Dragon Lord. Chan hated having to perform some of his scenes against nothing because the ghosts would later be superimposed in. Y then shelved both the films, partly due to his studio having run out of money, and was more than happy to loan Chan out 2 seasonal films for a 2-picture deal. When Snake and the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master became huge hits and finally broke Chan, Y gave belated releases to Spiritual Kung Fu and to Dragon Fist, which both did fairly well at the box office. Spiritual Kung Fu was Lo Wai's response to Chan's earlier attempt at blending comedy with Kung Fu in the film Half a Loaf of Kung Fu. Now, the supernatural elements in the film were brought to life by some early examples of Hong Kong special effects. Much of the scripted comedy in the film, though, centred on Chan's exaggerated facial expressions and reactions to his ghostly teachers. And the 5 fists Kung Fu style is based on the 5 fist animal pattern, which is one of the early martial arts practiced at the Shaolin Temple, and it's discussed in Kui Yu Chan Shi's book, The Essence of the 5 Fists. Now, this system contained dragon, tiger, snake, crane and leopard panther styles. The film was made with the intention of releasing it in Mandarin in early 1978, but that got shelved. Prior to its belated theatrical release late that year, a Cantonese soundtrack and some small edits were made, and it wasn't until 1980 that the film was finally given its release with the original Mandarin soundtrack. Despite being credited as the man who kick-started the career of both Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, Lo Wai was quite a controversial figure, particularly since both of the aforementioned stars actually accused him of ways of directing them, and with the latter in particular finally managing to have some box office success after he left Lo Wai Productions for Golden Harvest. Despite what actually happened there, however, the truth is that a number of these collaborations remain impressive, even to today, when the title cult is one that always accompanies them. And with Spiritual Kung Fu, occasionally it's so bad it's good, and that is among the most prominent of examples. Now we come to 2 films which are best watched as a double bill feature, and that is the Fearless Hyena and Fearless Hyena 2. Fearless Hyena from 1979 sees Jackie Chan working for the first time as a director, in addition to serving as a co-writer, lead actor and martial arts choreographer, taking full charge of his on-screen image. And he perfects the archetypal Chan character. He stars here as a rapscallion student of his martial arts master and grandfather, Hong Kong cinema legend James Tien, who uses his kung fu prowess to fight challenges for money until a personal tragedy forces him to get serious. Experimenting with various lenses and camera setups, Chan maximizes the action's visual impact while unleashing some of his most innovative fight choreography in a stunning whirlwind display of emotional kung fu. Now, there's a wonderful sequence involving chopsticks that was copied in Kung Fu Panda, as Lung has a bowl of rice and Pang Fai keeps on preventing him from being able to eat any of the meat at the table. How difficult must it have been to get this right? Another scene involving the two with lots and lots of different sized bowls is just as intricate and as fascinating to watch, be it the hopping from bowl to bowl or the number of bowls that end up on Chan, finishing with a tiny one Pang Fai sticks in his mouth and finishing matters in a very funny fashion. The action is excellent throughout the film and it's intricately choreographed and very well performed. Most of it is open hand combat, but there are also some brilliant weapons fights, especially the penultimate one between Jackie and Yen's spear-wielding henchmen. And the final fight between Chan and Yen is a very good ending indeed, with Jackie typically ditching traditional kung fu to fight with his own self-created kung fu style. The only slight problem here is that the previous fight's so good that the ending's a bit of an anticlimax. Now, the direction, cinematography and writing in this film is nothing special, and the film's certainly not up there with the best of Chan's canon of work, but with excellent action, a few chuckles and Jackie's charm, the film is an enjoyable watch. So it was obvious that a sequel would definitely be on the cards, and it sort of did happen, an unofficial sequel anyway, only sharing the name. It was 1983 and it was Fearless Hyena 2, but it was not directed by Jackie Chan but Chan Chuen and Lo Wai, despite being cobbled together from footage filmed prior to Jackie Chan's walkout. I'll explain more of that in a moment. Some scenes from other films and brand new shots featuring a Jackie Chan lookalike. Fearless Hyena 2 isn't half as bad as it should be, and the movie isn't a classic by any stretch of the imagination, but Jackie Chan's scenes are certainly worth checking out, if not only for one reason, but to see a superstar on the rise. Now, by all rights, Fearless Hyena 2 should be a horrible film, on par with such patchwork disasters as Game of Death and Trail of the Pink Panther, though the leads in both of those films died. Thankfully, the reason for Jackie Chan's departure from this movie was far less grave. Famously, Jackie broke his new deal with Loaf, a purported triad member, by walking out on the sequel after only filming a couple of scenes. How Jackie Chan avoided getting killed off by the triads and returning to Hong Kong to become a megastar is indeed the stuff of legends. But what became of his abandoned film is an interesting story in itself. Proving to be somewhat more talented than most give him credit for, Lo Wai supervised a reshoot of the uncompleted film with an assistance from director Chan Chuen by taking the footage from the 1980 shoot, incorporating some used and unused scenes from Chan's previous films, and hiring a double to bridge the gaps created by Chan's departure. He was able to assemble a sequel, Fearless Hyena 2. Now, the final result is a surprisingly halfway decent film. In the opening moments, for instance, to Fearless Hyena, the evil duo known as Heaven and Earth, Yang Yi Quan and Quan Young Moon, are hunting down two fleeing martial artists. Heaven and Earth's motivation isn't anything new, of course. The evil pair want to rule the martial world and eliminate the Yin-Yang clan. Typical bad guy behaviour. In order to outwit Heaven and Earth, the two brothers separate, taking their sons with them into seclusion. The supporting players do their best to keep the film lively when Chan is absent, but they can only do so much. James Tien and Chan Wei Hui do a competent job in the fight scenes, and a comic sidekick named Frog, played by Hon Guok Choi, tries to inject some humour into the proceedings, but none of them is a substitute for Jackie Chan. With two new great villains, Heaven and Earth, and brimming with fast-paced, slick martial arts fighting, Fearless Hyena 2 actually delivers a much more satisfying movie than its predecessor. Fearless Hyena 2 did not have the same impact at the box office though, largely due to the fact that Jackie Chan was unable to commit to the movie due to other projects, and so outtakes from the original film were cut in to create more screen time for the upcoming star. Jackie Chan's second directorial effort, The Young Master, was also a film of important firsts. It was his first for upstart studio Golden Harvest, and his first with his co-writer Edward Tang, who would become a key collaborator with Chan. The star filmmaker shows his increasing confidence with his endlessly inventive tale of a martial arts student who goes in search of his exiled brother, only to become entangled in a case of mistaken identity, with much amusement provided by Chan's interplay with his real-life former schoolmate Win Bio, and the epic finale in which Chan goes from human punching bag to raging bull is a bruising highlight of his career. Dragon and his big brother Tiger are two orphans who have been taken up since childhood by Master Tien, who runs a martial arts school with an iron fist. During the lion dance competition, which the school has been winning for years and is one of its main sources of income, Tiger is seemingly injured falling from a ladder, resulting in Dragon attempting the whole thing with another student. However, during the competition, Dragon realizes that his brother is not only uninjured, but he has actually received money from the lecherous owner of the rival school in order to compete for them. Now, an historically noteworthy but deeply flawed film this, with a barely discernible plot, Jackie Chan's second directorial feature, already he's developing the Jackie Chan happy-go-lucky and humorous style. The lion dance scenes at the beginning have coherent storytelling and are very well done, but I feel the story unravels somewhat after that. Hong Kong cinema was known for emphasising the fight scenes over any plot, and this film is no exception. The film ends with an overly long fight scene. It's the same mountainous South China location that Chan actually uses in a number of his early films. The scene is interesting but not well directed. But nevertheless, this was the time that Jackie Chan was starting to become a well-known international film star in his own right, and the hopeful successor to Bruce Lee in that regard. And the final film in this set is My Lucky Stars, and it's from 1985. Chan had now been with his home studio Golden Harvest, where he was to spend 20 years, and this film sees him not cast as the main star, but as a supporting actor, directed by Sammo Hung, written by Barry Wong and starring Hung, Jackie Chan and Win Bio. Now, it was released as 5 Lucky Stars in Japan and as Ninja Encounter in the Philippines, and My Lucky Stars is a second film in the Lucky Stars series and a semi-sequel to Winners and Sinners, with many of the same actors returning as the 5 Lucky Stars troupe, albeit with different character names and slightly different roles. A corrupt Hong Kong cop, Lam Ching Ying, flees to Tokyo to join his fellow mobsters, whose headquarters are secretly built under an amusement park. 2 loyal cops, Ricky, Win Bio, and Muscle, Jackie Chan, travel there to apprehend him and uncover the mobster's lair. But Ricky is kidnapped in a fight. Muscle goes into hiding and calls his supervisor to send help, since the mobsters already have information on the officers of the Hong Kong Royal Police Force. Despite being billed as one of the stars, Jackie Chan's role in the film is relatively minor until the final half hour. Now, the major star of the film is Chan's longtime associate and former member of the Peking Opera School, Sammo Hung. Now, that film also features another of that troupe, Win Bio. In the first film, Winners and Sinners, Stanley Fung played an undercover policeman who was posing as the leader of the Lucky Stars gang. And in My Lucky Stars, in the third film, that's Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, Hung's character is the nominal leader and Fung's character is not a cop. John Shum, that's Curly in Winners and Sinners, was notably absent from the gang in this film due to his commitments as a political activist. He's replaced by Eric Zhang. Now, by far the funniest scene in the film comes when the group visits a Japanese restaurant, and the only way they can communicate with the waiter is to act out what they want to order. None of them wanted anything simple, so watching them try and act out something like spaghetti carbonara or a club sandwich is absolutely hilarious. My Lucky Stars isn't quite as funny though as Winners and Sinners, with the majority of the runtime devoted to comedy, but the action is brutally brilliant, and when it's funny, it's exceptionally so. If nothing else, it's just great fun to see all these Hong Kong stars get together in one film, clearly all having a great time. There are certainly better Jackie Sammo Win Bio team-up films, but the action makes this one essential viewing for any Hong Kong action fan. So there we have it, 6 films that we can safely say did herald the emergence of a superstar, and with Police Story 1, 2 and 3 still to follow, it was only the start of his massive career, culminating in his inevitable transition to Hollywood, with films like Rush Hour 2, 3 fully exploring his comic talent and terrific propensity for tightly impressively choreographed stunts. And Jackie Chan's currently in production with Rush Hour 4, along with some other directed features and produced features coming next year. He is now 69 years of age. Certainly, if you're a martial arts fan, I would add this set to your collection. As well as the 6 films in the set, it comes with an attractive set of supplemental features. 2K digital restorations of Spiritual Kung Fu, the Fearless Hyena, Fearless Hyena 2, The Young Master and My Lucky Stars, and a high-definition digital restoration of Half a Loaf of Kung Fu with mono soundtracks. Alternate stereo and 5.1 surround Cantonese soundtracks. Classic English dub tracks for Half a Loaf of Kung Fu, Spiritual Kung Fu, the Fearless Hyena and Fearless Hyena 2, plus an English dubbed alternate track for Fearless Hyena 2. Contemporary English dub tracks for The Young Master and My Lucky Stars. New audio commentaries for The Fearless Hyena and The Young Master, featuring Hong Kong cinema expert and producer Frank Jeng. Interview with author Grady Hendrix about actor-director Jackie Chan. Archival interviews with Chan, actor-director Sammo Hung, actors Michiko Nishiwaki and Wang In-shik, and more. And The Young Master promo reel from 1980 Cannes Film Festival and deleted scenes from that film. Interview from 2005 with Hong Kong cinema critic Paul Fonaroff about the producer-director Lo Wai. NG shots from The Young Master and My Lucky Stars. Trailers, new English subtitle translations, and an essay by Alex Papademas. And the cover art, which is excellent for the set, is by Kyle Baker. Here now is a breakdown of the entire set with all the film running times and their aspect ratios.
You better stay away, better little have to pay.
Jackie Chan, Emergence of a Superstar, releases in the US only on Tuesday the 7th of November and is a collective set with a collective spine number of 1197. And of course, if you're in the US, you can pick this superb setup at 50% off the retail price at your local Barnes & Noble. That sale runs through the month of November. And on that note, we leave you for this edition of Let's Talk Criterion. Next time we look at the classic Peter Bogdanovich feature. Coming to 4K, it's The Last Picture Show. And that is on our edition next time round. Until next time, from me, it's goodbye and above all, good Criterion viewing.
You won't even know just where to look.